Remarkably, 119, we think. 9 confirmed cancellations, and one player, we understand, the German Martin Schindler, actually landed at Gatwick Airport, a couple of hundred miles up the road, of course, and he's still battling the elements and against the clock to get here in time to sign on, and if he does, he'll be entering the tournament at the 3rd round. So good luck to Martin getting here.
Good luck to him. Well, the players will be inside, our cameras will be inside. Sadly, the fans won't be, but I hope you'll be able to stay warm, stay safe and enjoy the tournament. Well, this is how it's looking in Butlins, in Minehead, in Somerset at the moment. It's been snowing since mid-afternoon yesterday. The roads treacherous, as they are throughout the country. The strong winds really aren't helping matters, but the darts will go on as planned. Well, over the next 3 days, the big names of the sport will do battle in plenty of up-and-coming talent coming up against them, with the professionals taking on the amateurs, as is the fun part of this tournament. The first session this afternoon, we have 7 boards running simultaneous as our first and second round games played out. These matches are all best of 11 or the first to 6 legs. Then this evening, the top players on the UK Open Order of Merit enter the fray, and we have 32 third round games, again spread out over 7 boards. Then tomorrow, the 4th and 5th rounds take place, and it's an action-filled day on Sunday with the quarters, the semis and the final. Unlike most other tournaments, it's an open draw here, so there are no seedings, which means no protection for the big names. So it is the FA Cup of Darts. Peter Wright is the defending champion, and this year's winner will walk away with a cheque for £70,000. We got the Iceman here, one of them. Love to wind him up.
There's about 700 of them.
Quite a few of them out there.
There are a few outside, aren't there? Chris Mason as well. You've only just taken your shorts and T-shirts off. You're so northern.
I'm a northerner. It's not that cold. I don't know why you're worrying about it. People with hats on.
You're not quite Geordie, are you? No, we feel for the fans. This is the sad situation. We know the weather is affecting everything up and down the country, all sorts of tournaments, all sorts of events. We've been affected too, but the fans that are here have really been affected. But from a player's point of view, what's this like?
It's obviously different, and something that some of the players won't have played in before. We used to have a tournament a few years ago, the Championship League of Darts, should I say, in Essex, where there was only 2 boards in the arena and 2 games going on. There was no crowd, so some players will be used to it, but quite a few will not be.
It's like one of my exhibitions, so I'd be all right. Yeah, it's going to be different. And a lot of players do, play on that whole system of having their fans there and their support system with their, friends and family. They're not going to get that. I mean, players' guests have been allowed in at the moment, but health and safety. We live in this mad health and safety world, and unfortunately, it's not safe for the fans to come into the venue. So
you can imagine somebody being on a 9-darter, can't you? Hitting it and turning it round and complete silence.
Yeah.
It's strange, but something some players will be used to, as I said.
It is all about health and safety, the safety of the fans, and making sure that they are. It's a Butlins decision that the tournament will go ahead. Just the fans not being allowed
even
inside
the
venue.
walkway that we just came through, where the players go from the practice area to the stage boards, is completely covered in snow. I mean, that's how bad it is. It's got so extreme that they've just not been able to clear the snow out of the way, even for the players. So
it's absolutely mad, isn't it? Well, let's have a look, because there were supposed to be 128 players taking part. This is the latest situation with the withdrawals. A lot of the players coming from Ireland. There were the main ones. They can't fly over, they can't get here, quite clearly. Ones from up north as well, some of them. And 11 of those players now confirmed as being withdrawn. And Martin Schindler still making his way from Germany, bless him, from Gatwick Airport. Hopefully he will get here in time. We'll have to see. Well, as you can imagine, it's been a challenging few hours for the PDC. Let's hear from their chief executive now, Matthew Porter. He's with Ned, and they're around the multiboard area.
Yeah, we're down in what is traditionally known at the UK Open as the bunker, the engine room of the tournament. But it's a rather quiet situation here because, Matt Porter, essentially, I mean, there aren't going to be any fans here, so it's a very unusual situation.
It's very unusual. It's been a very difficult morning. We spoke to Butlins first thing this morning. They informed us that overnight there'd been a severe restriction in the supply of running water to the site. Underground pipes had frozen, and obviously that's not something that will be fixed immediately. So they didn't feel it was safe to let the public on site, and we have to respect that decision. That's, it's Butlins' site. It's their call. People on here, they've got a duty of care to them. So we were obviously keen that the show went ahead. We looked at rescheduling options. There were so many different stakeholders involved in that, and it wasn't possible to reschedule the event. So with 90% of the players here, we took a view that the event must go on.
I mean, I guess we should be grateful for the fact that the darts are flying. You know, that it must have come close to calling the whole thing off at certain points.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously a cancellation isn't ideal, especially less so for a major ranking event as the UK Open is. We did, as I say, evaluate different scenarios. We spoke to different stakeholders, people who are involved in decision making like that. Obviously, we can't jeopardise the safety of any fan who's coming to this event, and we understand a lot of fans didn't travel, obviously, and they would be refunded by Butlins. But you know, we were still conscious of the fact that 90% of the players were here and had prepared for this event, and ultimately it is a sporting event, so we had to do our best to get it on.
Now, it's going to be a strange atmosphere. There's going to be a smattering. You can probably see there's a few people here, so it's not entirely empty.
No, there's a few players, guests, people who've staying with their players in local hotels and things like that, who've come in to watch their own players' games. Players are used to playing in this kind of environment.
Yes.
We have Pro Tour events most weekends. Players are used to playing without the raucous atmospheres that you see generated by TV events. So they'll probably just adjust their mental approach to their matches to think that they're playing in a Pro Tour event rather than a televised event. So I don't expect the standard of darts to change at all. Obviously, it'll just be a bit quieter. Yeah,
well, listen, I mean, congratulations for getting it on. I know that the boys behind the scenes have worked incredibly hard. Some of them were down in Exeter. They've had to get up here and get this thing on, so we can watch darts. So well done to the PDC and everyone. And just to mark your card, on these boards behind us, we're going to very, very imminently see the likes of Cristo Reyes, Benito van der Pas, Mark Walsh and Alex Roy, and on and on and on and on. This is the real heart of the UK Open.
Yeah, thanks to Ned and to Matthew Porter. I know there have been a lot of questions flying around from fans as to what's going on here, but just bringing it back to the player situation. And as they said there, it's not as if they're not used to playing behind closed doors, but it's just a weird one that they are live on ITV4, and it is a major TV
that's
tournament.
It's on TV.
Late decision as well, I suppose. But like Matt said there, you know, Pro Tour events are all played behind closed doors every weekend, so they're used to it. It's just because it was a late decision, I suppose, which is the right decision, let's be fair. You know, all the staff involved have done a great job to actually put the event on here, because it's.
Yeah. I wonder whether they'd have been slightly distracted by the fact that they've been wondering whether it's on or off and all that sort of thing.
It's a major ranking event, so it's important that it went on, because that can affect, you know, the rest of the players' season. Right. Some of them.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it is time to get up and running here in Minehead. The show must go on. We kick off with the first round matches, and we've got live coverage of Terry the Bull Jenkins up against the 2010 Players' Championship winner Paul Nicholson. I will keep you fully informed on all the other action as it happens from boards 2 to 7. Remember that these games are the best of 11, which means the first to 6. So let's get going. Here is John McDonnell.